Welcome, my dear student, in new period or new session about the revision of chemistry for first secondary. First of all, I would like to say that our syllabus of chemistry this year, it depends on 5 chapters or 5 units. The first 3 units in the first term and the other 2 units in the second term. So the first unit concerned with the studying the science, and the second part of this, or the second chapter, concerned with studying the nanotechnology. First of all, let's start with the science. What do we mean by science? In our session today, we are going to make a fast revision, a scan on the first unit at all. So let's remember with each other, what about science? What do we mean by science? Actually, I know that you are ready or already get it, but let us remember with each other. Yes, science is any technology, any science, any theories, any principles, any all of these subjects are considered as a science. So science is a systematic knowledge of building in the form of facts, theories, laws, and so on. Facts and theories, and you have studied it before about the Big Bang theory. Big Bang theory, it is a kind of theory that science concerned with it. So science is a systematic building unit, systematic building of information. It's up to you in the form of facts, theories, law, principle, hypothesis, and so on. But science can be classified into 2 main parts: humans, or the branch of science concerned with the human being, and the other side is the physical science. What do you mean by physical science? Physical science means chemistry, physics, biology, astronomy, earth science, geology. So this is the branches, this is a part of branches of the physical science. Of course, we are going to concern with the first concept, or the first branch of science is the chemistry. What do we mean by chemistry? So we should know the meaning of chemistry. Chemistry is a branch of science concerned with what? Concerned with studying of structure of substance, properties of substance, and how this substance perform each rules, and how does this substance react with each other. And this reaction needs condition. This condition of reaction means that. Means what? Means the condition that should be exist to perform the chemical reaction. Chemical reaction does not done by or in the absence of this condition. So the chemistry is a branch of science that studies the structure, properties of substance. Okay, and other branches, other parts, other forms of science, like physics. Physics is a science concerned with studying the nature of matter, nature of substance, and how does this substance move, and so on. And biology. Biology is a branch of science concerned with the structure of living organisms. How does living organism consisted of? Biology studies the structure of living organism, where the digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, structure of living organism. And in case of the plant, shoot system, root system, the structure of living organism is the main issue in the studying of biology. So we call our unit is that chemistry is a central science. What do we mean by chemistry is a central science? So chemistry make overlap with other branches of science. In case of biology, we face the branch of science, new branch of science called biochemistry. What do you mean by biochemistry? Biochemistry means the branch of science that studies the structure of living cell, the structure of cell, the chemical structure of cell. Biology concerned with the structure of living organism at all. But the biochemistry is a branch of science concerned with the studying the chemical structure of living cell. Living cell especially. How does living cell perform its rule? Why green plant make photosynthesis process and the animal cell cannot make this photosynthesis process? This means that the structure of cell, of living cell, contains, structure of plant cell contains part of its component can change the solar energy into chemical energy to make these issues. Okay. How the chemistry make overlap with the physics? So we have branch of science called physical chemistry. So the chemistry is overlapped with the physics and make a new branch of science concerned with the how does the structure of substance affect on its nature. So we study the surface tension of water and so on, and how insects move or walk or stand on the surface of water. All these issues, the capillary action and so on, is the branch of science called physical chemistry. So it concerns with the how does the structure of substance affect on the properties of matter. This is a branch of science. And how does chemistry make overlap with each other? So we are going to study the fields of chemistry, where chemistry make an importance. Chemistry is important for agriculture. For example, how does chemistry is important for agriculture? Agriculture contains crops, soil, insecticides, pesticides, nutrients, and so on. So by chemical analysis of soil and the chemical analysis of crops, we choose the suitable crops for suitable soil. So the chemistry play an important role, especially analytical chemistry, play an important role in the agricultural field. So they concern with the studying the nutrients, the insecticides, the pesticides, the fertilizers of this poor soil to improve the crops or improve the properties of the soil. So the chemistry make an overlap between the agricultural field and the analytical chemistry. For example, medicine. This chemistry is important for medical field, of course. How? Analytical chemistry play an important role as well in the diagnosis of disease and every diagnosis of disease. And how does this disease can be treated? And the medicine means the chemical compound produced from some living organism and has a harmful effect or damage effect or dead the other living organism. So the chemical analysis or analytical chemistry concerned with how we produce this substance that used in medicine as antibiotics and so on. For bread mold, for example, produce cortisone, where penicillium fungi produce penicillin. Well, penicillin is an important antibiotic and has many branches and many families based on the structure of penicillin. Okay, from our discussion, we have learned about the analytical chemistry. This chemistry has many branches. Yes, of course. What are the branches of studying chemistry? First of all, we have listened about the analytical chemistry, and it is important. And other branches of chemistry, such as what? Such as organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is a branch of chemistry concerned with the compounds produced from living organisms, like milk, like tartaric acid, like lactic acid. All these compounds extracted from the living cell. So this compound can be named, can be called about the organic compound. And the branch of chemistry that studies this certain kind of compound called the organic chemistry. And we are going to study it before. For example, nuclear chemistry. Nuclear chemistry is a branch of chemistry concerned with nuclear reaction. And how does this nuclear reaction take place? Other chemistry, all that branch of chemistry that we have studied up till now concerned with the structure of the chemical reaction in the last energy level. Sometimes electron lost from atom of metal and gained by the atom of non-metal. So the chemical reaction take place in the outermost energy level. Outermost energy level means valence electron can be lost, can be gained, can be shared. This is the inorganic chemistry, branch of chemistry. But nuclear chemistry concerned with the studying the structure of nucleus. And how does this structure can be used as a source of energy, for example. So we are going to study it in next term, inshallah. But is there other branches of chemistry? Of course. في electrochemistry, it is a branch of chemistry which concern with the relation between electricity and chemical reaction. Chemical reaction can be produce electric current, such as dry cell or simple cell or electric cell. And as well, electricity can be used in chemical reaction as electroplating with electrolytic cell and so on. And the preparation some elements, and we are going to study electrochemistry next year, inshallah. And we have thermal chemistry. Thermal, the word thermal means heat. Thermal. Thermochemistry, it is a branch study with the overlap between the heat and the chemistry. Thermodynamic means branch of science concerned with the movement of heat from or to the body. So heat can be transferred from the hot body to the cold body. Hot can be produced during chemical reaction as exothermic reaction. Heat can be absorbed by other kind of reaction called endothermic reaction. So this kind of issues belongs to this kind of issues is called the thermochemistry. And we have many branches of chemistry. But we have a new definition or concept very important in chemistry. This concept called measurement. Called what? Measurement. What do we mean by measurement? In measurement. Measurement means القياسات. What do we mean by measurement? Measurement means, or before I ask you what do you mean by measurement, let's take an example. If you would like to measure the length of your room or your desk, so the length of your desk becomes unknown with respect to you, and we take another known quantity from the same type to measure how many units of this known one in the unknown one. So we can define the measurement as it is a comparison. What do we mean by comparison? Comparison يعني مقارنة between two quantities, two physical quantities. One of them is unknown quantity with known one. Why? From the same type, from the same kind. To know how many units from the known quantity exist in the unknown. This is the concept of measurement. This concept of measurement is important in chemistry, of course. Why? Why do the measurement concept is important for our studies of chemistry? Measurement, number one, gave us information about the contents of the substance, the ratio of contents. We call it the qualitative and the quantitative analysis. So the first importance here is gaining information. Gaining information about the sample in front of you. And after that, make a control and protection. If you recognize that the air has many sources of pollution, and we take amount of air and make a suitable analysis for it, and we discover that the air is polluted and there are dangerous substances exist in the air. So we get information about the components of air and take the step. What this step is the controlling and the protection. Controlling in the source of pollution, and protection, protect ourselves, the living organism in this area, either animal, plant, and so on, and protect them from this pollution. So the second importance is getting, number one, getting information, number two, controlling and protection. The third importance in this issue, measurement is important for chemistry because it supposes solution or proposing solution for other environmental problem like water pollution, air pollution, soil pollution, and so on. So the measurement is important in the chemistry field. And after measurement process, we should make a report. So we call the disk, the length of disk is 2 meters. The time of session is 60 minutes. The mass of object is 5 kilograms. So the measurement includes two main factors. Number one is the numerical value. What do you mean by numerical value? 2 kilos. يبقى الكيلوز دي measuring unit. Two factors. Number one, numerical value, and the number two, measuring unit. So the length of disk is 3 meters. 3 numerical value, meter measuring unit. But we should be carefully during the measurement because some scales has error ratio. And we have studied the error ratio in other subjects. What do you mean by error ratio? Some instruments get ratios, nisba ratios of the mistakes due to two main factors. Number one, inside the apparatus itself. The apparatus built on wire and some other parts, maybe this wire or some other parts may be get tired or be longer from the general uses or the over uses, and other factors that comes from the outside of the apparatus. These factors means that the balance of apparatus on the table and so on. So we should be careful about the error ratio. So the measurement include two main factors. Number one, numerical value. Number two, measuring unit. Okay, measurement is important in our chemistry. So we need, what do we call it, measurement tools. What do we mean by tools? These tools is the substance, is the apparatus, help us to measure some other things. For example, number one, sensitive balance. What do we mean by sensitive balance? Do you see the balance in the that measures the gold, for example? For them, it's sensitive balance. ده سميناه sensitive balance because it measures very small masses of chemicals, of gold, of other important substances that we need accurate mass. with small mass, accurate small mass. So we need the sensitive balance. This is the first tool in our lab, and we should know about it, that there are many types of sensitive balance. We concern with the uploading balance, that's the balance that loaded from the up, such as the balance in the that you buy gold. We need this balance and put the rings and so on from each top, وبالتالي بنسميه top sensitive balance أو digital balance. Digital means رقمي، بيديني الماس بالأرقام. Digital balance. So this is the first tool we have in our lab. The second one is the burette. What do we mean by burette? Burette means glass tools, or glass tool has tap and has two opening, and the 0 point here from the top, and the end point 50, for example, here in the bottom. And we use it to obtain accurate volume of liquid. What do we mean by accurate volume? Accurate volume means that it can adjust the volume of liquid. Okay, the accurate volume comes from, or can we obtain it from, using burette. Burette used in very important process called titration. What do you mean by titration? Titration means the reaction between acid and the base. This reaction called titration process. Someone you only, Mr. This reaction called neutralization. Neutralization. Okay, neutralization, the name of this reaction according to the classification of chemical reaction. Names neutralization. Why? Because the hydrogen proton of acid is neutralized with OH of base or alkali. Okay, how does this process take place in lab? Through the titration process. What do you mean by titration process? We give burette like that, burette, and burette 0 هنا, and here 50 أو 500 whatever هي الكباستي بتاعتها قد ايه. ببتدي انا اجيب هذه البيوريت واحط فيها الاسيد. For example HCl. Knowing concentration. So بسميه standard substance. ليه؟ Because it is a substance that known in concentration. We know the concentration of it. And we put in conical flask. This is the conical flask. Conical flask, we put it the alkali, NaOH. And we use some indicator. Why? To know the end point. So when the HCl fall from here, HCl react with NaOH and gives NaCl and H2O. And we know the end point. That means that all sodium hydroxide are used up through the using some indicator like litmus paper, litmus dye, and phenolphthalein, and methyl orange, blue bromothymol. All these indicators can be used here to know the end point. This process called titration process, or sometimes we call it degradation process. Degradation means the titration process. Another word, degradation process. And in the school book there is a questions consider the titration process, called it degradation process. So you should know the two names of this process. So this is the titration process, and we use it burette, and we have more information about it. And conical flask. Flasks is a second type, or second measurement tools, but before flask, let's speak about the beakers. البيكرز دي عبارة عن glass tool like that. glass tools دي may be برضو graduated, but graduation started from 0 here and from 100 here, and this is a بنسميها glass beaker made of مادة بنسميها Pyrex. Pyrex can be heated easily without damage, so we can make the boiling process in the beakers and make a solution and preserve this solution. This is the structure of beakers and made of glass tools, kind of glass called the Pyrex glass. And the uses of it may be preparing solution, may be preserving solution, may be boiling, and so on. And this is the beaker. And there is another tool called the conical, the flasks. Flasks has 3 types: conical flask, round bottom flask, and volumetric flask. So the conical, and this round bottom, and this is called volumetric. And the importance of this kind of flask, it used to make or to give a very accurate volume of solution. So we have many tools measure the volume of solution. The burette, because it is graduated, glass tools, and beaker, and flasks. But we have many of them has accurate uses. So the most one gave accurate volume of liquid is the volumetric flask. And we have another questions in the school book about that. So we can make we can gain the volume of liquid or solution through the beaker, but not accurate. And maybe we use it in we pour this liquid in the burette, maybe more accurate than that. But the volumetric flask is the most accurate glass tool to measure the volume of liquid. So we should compare between the accuracy in both cases. Okay, conical flask can make measure of volume of liquid because some of them has graduation, and the beaker and the volumetric flask and the burette. Which one is the most accurate one? Is the volumetric. It is the most accurate one. This is number 1. Number 2, the burette. Number 3, the conical flask and the beaker, and so on. Okay, this is the measuring tools, some measuring tools. We have 2 measuring tools later. Number 1, the pipette or pipette. البيبت دي عبارة عن something like chalumeau, and the glass tool has 2 openings, and may be graduated and may be not. So if it is graduated, so we use it in the preparation or the know the volume of some liquid or transfer certain volume of some liquid between different tools. And the last one is the pH meter. And this is important one. What do we mean by pH? ما هي pH? pH دي the way to know the concentration of each proton in solution. This H proton, hydrogen ion, all these names means the hydrogen proton in the solution. Any substance that produces hydrogen in solution called the acid. So the pH meter measures the acidity or basicity, alkalinity of the solution. How? We have two types of measurement of tools to measure the pH. أول حاجة الستريبس اللي هي عبارة عن piece of paper change its color in different medium, and the pH meter ده جهاز meter like that has digital screen and has antenna. We put this antenna in the solution, and here reading maybe ranges from 0 to 14 only, not more than 14. What does it mean? In the middle 7. So if the pH of solution is 7, this means this solution is neutral. And if it less than 7, it will be acidic. More than 7 will be basic. So 7 is the neutral solution. If we measure the pH of the solution and the pH was 3, other solution was 5, both of them are acids, but which of them is more acidic? Number 3. As we go away from the neutral point in the two extremes, we mean the most basic substance and the most acidic substance. If we have solution contains ال pH بتاعته مثلا هنا 8 وهنا 13, which is more basic? Of course, the 13 is more basic. As we go away from the neutral point, we get a more basic substance, and when we go away from the neutral point in this case and near 0, for example, this means that this substance has more acidic than the other substance. This is the pH meter. And this is the first scan about the chapter 1, chemistry as a central science, and measurement tools and the uses of it. The second part here is the nanotechnology. What do we mean by nanotechnology? Nanotechnology, it is a branch belongs to the nanoscience. Okay, nanotechnology. Okay, but what do we mean by nanotechnology? Nanotechnology. Nanotechnology, one word, but has two suffix and prefix. Nano comes from the Greek name nanos, and this means in English that dwarf, in Arabic qism. This is the meaning of nano word. Technology, what do we mean by technology? Sometimes ask someone, what do you mean by technology? And he answered, mobile, satellite. Technology means the life application of the scientific theory to be apparatus. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ يعني scientists study and discover that when electric current passes through the wire, it produces magnetic effect around it. Okay, what does it mean? من أساس بكتير. It doesn't mean anything. أساس بكتير. إيه المشكلة? And scientists prove that or discovered that the electric wire or electric current passing through the wire and gave thermal effect. Okay, what does it mean with respect to me? The technical takes these theories and make an apparatus used in our life. Like what? He takes the idea of the magnetic field around or accompanying the electric current in the making form of motor or dynamo. So, motor or dynamo is an application, is a life application based on the scientific theory. So this is called technology. Lamp based on the electric current has thermal effect. thermal effect that accompany the electric current, this kind of thermal effect means what? Means that the current, if he move in the wire becomes hotter. So the technical takes this idea and making the nickel chrome alloy, this used in the heater and in iron, in kettle, in heater, and so on. This is the kind or source of the application, life application for the scientific theory. Okay. Nanotechnology. لما تركبهم على بعض. What does it mean? Nano mean dwarf, something very small. Technology, using the scientific theory to make an apparatus or life application. So the nanotechnology, it is using the scientific theory and make an application in the scientific theory in nanoscale. What do we mean by nanoscale? Okay, let us see some quantities. You have studied it before, and we make a shadow or spot about it. What do we mean by this number? 10 power 3. 10 power 3 means what? Means بالعربي 1000, بالإنجليش 1000. لكن in Latin language called it kilo. So kilogram is 1000 gram. Kilometer 1000 meter. So the 10 power 3 means kilo. عفوا kilo. Type 10 power 6. This is in Arabic million. In English million. But in the Latin name means mega. 10 power 9. In Latin name giga. 10 power 9 means milliard or billion. But in Latin name we call it giga. And we use these names in our life. So مثلا the lens of camera or the camera of your mobile مثلا 16 megapixel. The capacity of the flash memory مثلا نقول 32 giga. ايه ده؟ يبقى this is means that mega, giga and kilo. So the mega contains how many kilo? Yes, 1000 kilo. الميجا 1000 كيلو. الميجا فيها 1000 كيلو. الجيجا contain مليون كيلو. مليون كيلو اسمه جيجا. And 1000 kilo of mega. So we can convert between these quantities easily in the X ratio as you learned in the math. But the scale in the lower scale, 10 power negative 3, 10 power negative 6, 10 power negative 9, 10 power negative 3 called milli. عشان كده الملي جرام 1 على 1000 من الجرام بنسميه thousands. وهكذا 10 power negative 6 called micro. Micro means 1 over million, millions. So microscope, scope means رؤية, vision. Micro, so it is a vision of the living organisms in the diameter of micrometer. And here 10 power negative 9 means nano. So the nano means 10 power negative 9 or 1 over 10 zeros. This is a nanometer. Nanogram. Nano means scale means 10 power negative 9. And this is our subject today. What do we mean by nano? It is a very small very small scale. Comes from word nanos, and it equal 1 over billion. بنسميها billions أو نانو. billions يعني 1 على بليون او نانو بنسميها برضو 10 power negative 9. And all this information comes in the exam, and we have many of them in the school book as questions. So we should be able to convert the unit to each other. So the nano means the 10 power negative 9 scale. So what do we mean by nanoscale? And what is the importance of this nanotechnology and nanosubstance? The concept of nano means we classify, we divide the substance into very small pieces. These small pieces, one of these pieces called nanometer, for example. لو أنا بقسم متر إلى مليار أو بليون، فده بيديني اليونت الواحدة منه اسمها نانو. اسمها ايه؟ نانو. So نانو دي which is bigger, the milli or the nano? Milli means the meter divided into 1,000 parts, but nano means this meter divided into billion parts. So the part nano very smaller than the part of milli. خليني أسأل سؤال وجاوب عليه كده حضرتك عشان نشوف فهمنا ولا لا. If we have two bottles, one of them, both of them are polluted, but the ratio of pollution in one of them is 100 nano. 100 nanogram from the 100 nanoliter from the volume of the bottle is pollution or polluted. The ratio of pollution in this bottle 100 nanometer, 100 nanoliter according to انت بتحسبها وزن ولا كتلة ولا اي حاجة. And the other bottle contains the ratio of pollution in it 5 milli. So هنا 100 nanoliter وهنا 5 milliliter pollution. Which one is considered the drinkable water? We drink, of course, that contains 100 nano, because the nano is very small, so the ratio of pollution in this bottle is so small, and it is safe to be used as a drinkable water. What is the importance of nano? ليه النانو مهم؟ علم النانو ده, the science of nano. Why is it, or it is important? It is important because let's say three main stories. Number one, if you know that the gold in macro scale becomes like yellow, shiny yellow substance. But if we take this golden ring and divide the gold into nano parts, the color of gold will be changed into green, into red, and so on. So, or let us say the second story, and you will answer why the nanoscale is important. Copper is the wire, copper used in the cables, in the connecting wire, because it is very soft element. But if we make a nano copper and we make a wire from nano copper, this nano copper wire becomes very solid, change from soft substance إلى solid substance, very soft solid, very solid substance. The solidity of the wire increased. The third story, you know the coke, the carbon, اللي هو الفحم, it is so brittle. But if we make nano wire of carbon, divide the carbon into nanoparticle and make from them a wire, this wire of nano carbon in the size of the human hair, the one hair of your head, can push the truck, the car, يعني تربطها في الكار من الناحية دي وتشدها تشد معاك. solidity زيادة, هو كان brittle. So what is the importance of the nanoscale, the nanoscience? Yes, because some properties appeared in nanoscale doesn't appear in macroscale. وانا يهمني ايه ان كان لون الذهب هيتغير؟ طبعا لا، مش هي دي. بس في some important properties ظهرت خلتني انا اقدر استخدم النانو كربون for example for conduction. So the nanoscience show a properties, these properties doesn't be seen in macro scale by naked eye. So we have here two definitions. Number one, the critical nano size. It is the size that the nano substance is appeared, or the nano properties is appeared. كمان مرة. It is the critical nano size. It is the size that the nano properties, unique nano properties is appeared. So we describe here the size. But these properties that appeared in this critical size called size-dependent properties. What do we mean by size-dependent properties? We here concern with properties. So it is a kind of properties, it is the properties that is changing by changing the size or the volume. يبقى volume nano or volume dependent properties. It is the properties that depend on the change in the volume. So we have here two definitions similar to each other. Critical nano volume, this means that the volume at which the unique nano properties appeared, and volume dependent properties, it is the properties that appeared in nano size. The nano size ranges from 1 and 100 nano. Any dimension exists in 1 and 100 nano, we call it, this is nano substance. Nano substance. This is the critical nano size. After that or before that, it doesn't consider as a nano substance. Okay. Any substance, any body has three-dimensional coordinate. For example, we call it 3D. This shape of cuboid. This is called length, this is called width, and this is called height. So the volume of cuboid comes from length times width times height. Okay, this is 3 dimensions. 3 what? 3 dimensions. These 3 dimensions has 6 surface area. لو انا خدت هذا الجزء او هذا الشكل ده، او لو بصيت على الموبايل ده، بص كده معايا على الموبايل ده، الموبايل ده بيشبه شكل الكيوبويد. شكل الايه يا جماعه؟ الكيوبويد. has many surface area. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this cuboid contains 6 surface area. If we divide into 2 parts, so we have 2 cubes. Each one has 6 surface area, and the volume of cube becomes smaller, and the surface area becomes bigger. We have here, if we divide it into 2 parts, we have here 12 surface area. If we divide it into 10 parts, each part becomes smaller, and each part has 6 surface area. So the ratio of surface area becomes about 60. 6 surface area for each cube or cuboid or whatever. So as the difference, as the big ratio, as the difference between the ratio of the volume and number of surface area, as the difference between surface area and the volume increase, as the nano properties appeared. كمان مرة. The nano properties appeared when امتى؟ When the ratio between the volume of substance and the surface area becomes very large. This case causes the changing in the properties and the appearance of the unique nano properties. Okay. Any substance has 3-dimensional coordinate. if we have 3 dimension, length, width, and height. If we have substance, 1 dimension from the 3, height for example, exists in nanoscale. What do you mean by nanoscale? Excellent. Nanoscale means the range between 1 and 100 nano. This is the nanoscale. If we have 1 dimension only from the 3-dimensional in nanoscale, we call this substance 1-dimensional nanosubstance. 1-dimensional nanosubstance means it is a substance that has only 1 dimension of the 3 dimensions exist in nanoscale, ranges from 1 and 100 nano. And for example, or if we would like to show the example about this type of substance, like thin film. Do you know thin film that cover some bottles and other food used in food industry and package of food, اللي هو thin film بتاع البلاستيك الرقيق جدا ده اسمه thin film. في كمان عندي نانو واير. نانو واير يعني ايه؟ يعني واير في النانو سكيل. حضرتك لو جبت شلت الشريحه بتاعت اي موبايل تلاقي من ورا عندي في مجموعه من الخرايط كده بالنحاس. ما دي كلها سيركتس، والسيركتس دي محتاجه واير. كمان في عندي الواير ده ممكن يتعامل مع بعضه ويديني حاجه تانية بسميها النانو فايبر. تفتكر النانو فايبر دي بتستخدم في ايه؟ of course used as a filter for water, for air, used in the chimneys of the factories and so on. So this is 3 examples for 1-dimensional nano substance. Okay, if we have another substance has 2 dimension from the 3 exist in nanoscale. For example, width and height exist for range between 1 and 100 nano. This substance called what? Called 2-dimensional nano substance. And we have an example, important example, carbon nanotube. And we have 2 types from it. Either uni nanotube, carbon nanotube, or multi ويوني. يوني يعني عندي nanotube واحدة. المالتي بيبقى اكتر من واحده جوه بعض، عندهم ديفرنت دايمتر وبحطهم جوه بعض. الكربون نانوتيوب ده وجد ان هو conduct electricity more than copper and conduct heat more than diamond. So it is used as a very good conductor for heat and electricity. And this carbon nanotube has solidity that pull the car. So it is used in the space shuttle، مصاعد الفضاء اللي هي المكوك والصاروخ والحاجات دي اللي بتشيل الأجهزة وبتطلع على الفضاء. And used in biological sensor that make زي المناظير وخلافه. If the substance that has 3 dimensions in nanoscale، ال 3 dimension بتوعها في النانو scale from 1 to 100 nano. This substance so called 3-dimensional nano substance. 3-dimensional nano substance. And we have 2 examples. The first one is buckyball. Buckyball, كلمة bucky means C60. C what? C60. احنا عارفين ان الكربون الاتوميك نمبر بتاعه 6 والماس نمبر 12. امال ايه سي 60 دي؟ بتبقى هولو فوتبول. يعني ايه فوتبول يا جماعه؟ يعني كوره مكونه من 60 ذره كربون. 60 ذره كربون دول عاملين مع بعض كده هولو فوتبول. هذه الهولو فوتبول بتستخدم ككارير اوف ميديسين. This is the buckyball. Sometimes comes a question say why the buckyball takes this name. Because this ball consists of 60 carbon atom. 60 carbon atom. Okay. And the nanoshell as example for the 3-dimensional nanosubstance. Both of them are used as a carrier of medicine. What do you mean by carrier of medicine؟ يعني حامل للأدوية، لأنها hollow from inside and smooth from outside, so it is used as a carrier of medicine. We put the medicine in it and send it to the infected part directly. So this increase the efficiency of the medicine, and as well used as or avoid the what we call the side effect of medicine. So the buckyball used as a carrier of medicine for these two reasons. Actually our time is finished. I hope to see you next period إن شاء الله على خير. أترككم في رعاية الله.